What's going on, guys? It's your boy District Coder, joined today by the one, the only Trish TTV, the one and only, the GOAT, the solar god himself. He happens to be here in Canada in my apartment. We might be going to YCS Niagara this weekend, which would be a fun time. However, he did bring the superior card game. He brought his Elestrals cards, and he's here to showcase his brand new updated solar deck. You have been grinding this deck a lot, haven't you?
I really have. Like, this deck's awesome. It makes me want to hop on Elestrals every time I play it.
So before we get into the deck profile, is there anything you want to say, or where can they find you?
Well, if you have to find me, please don't find me. But I'm live pretty much all the time over on Twitch at twitch.tv/TrishulaTTV. Don't check us out, but if you have to, that's where we are. Also, solar best deck. I don't really know what else to say. This is the best deck in the game, dude.
Solar best deck. Well, go ahead, show us these solar cards. Show us how best deck it is.
All right, I'm gonna start by not showing any solar cards. I'm gonna start with
That's
three
the
rabbits.
Best card!
Oh, let's go! It's good Corvishine. Let's go! Yeah. So obviously we're playing three rabbit. I'm not gonna talk about that. But we do play the best solar card, which is the 5. It's Lumaru. So Lumaru is also. It's like one of the best solar cards because it has the number 5 on it.
Yeah.
So you can activate Apollo and then you find a 5 and you say, oh, look, a good number. And then you put it on the field and you attack with it. But what's really cool about Lumaru specifically is it is, I think, the highest defensed 5 in the game, right? Something like that?
At 2? I mean, it still loses to Cryoblast, but yeah.
Not under the field spell, it doesn't.
That's true.
Not under the field spell, it doesn't.
So you're playing the field spell in this one?
We'll see. We'll get there.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe they'll play the field spell. Maybe I'll play against Solar.
Fair enough.
So, and then we play 2 more Lumaru, but bad. We play the Oinky Lumaru.
Okay.
This is another great solar card.
This is a 5s deck. This is not solar. This
No,
is
no, no,
fives.
trust. We're getting to the solar part. This is actually a solar card in disguise because it doesn't say it here. It doesn't say a solar card, but you see this funny little symbol. It kind of looks like an angel. That means it's an ethereal. And Exaltus searches every card that is an ethereal in the game. So this is searchable as a solar card. So this is an honorary solar Elestronauts.
Okay, honorary solar.
Yeah, but so the idea is we are playing the field spell. So the idea is that this deck can struggle with opposing 5s. Okay. So the best way to deal with the opposing 5 is to play a 6 under the field spell. So you play this as a solar dude and beat over their dude.
So it is just 5s.
It's 5s plus solar. It's 5s plus solar.
Amazing.
So then we play another, definitely not a 5 guy. We play 2. We play 2 Galaxy.
It's just 5. He's just playing 5.
I'm not playing 5s. It's solar, trust. So this is the best solar Elestral because it's a whale. It's also an ethereal, fun fact. So this is a solar dude.
So this is also searchable by Exaltus.
Yes. So the whole idea with this early lineup is that we do play a 5's core. Okay. Right, so Astrabbit is obviously the best card in the game. It happens to be a 5. We play
also searchable by Exaltus, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is searchable. We play the Lumaru, which isn't searchable by Exaltus. It's the only card in the deck that isn't searchable by Exaltus. Everything else is.
But searchable by Apollo.
It's searchable by Apollo though, so you still find it.
I can see the consistency. That sounds good.
And then you play the other 5s that are searchable by Apollo. I chose to main deck Galaxy. I know you cited it in your list, so did Swole. I chose to main it because King in my mind is like the good 5s deck right now.
Yeah.
And Solar hates playing against 5s. So it's like if I see a Draking, I'm making it a 4 and killing it.
Okay.
So that's the 5's core of the deck. Now for the actual solar part of the deck, we play the 2 Corvishine.
Okay. Broken.
I'm gonna scoot these over here.
Yeah.
2 Corvishine, 2 Exaltus, 2 Drataura.
Okay.
1 Peem. It's Peem.
You have so much money, bro.
I am broke now. Like I spent my entire paycheck for like 2 months on this deck, and now I'm broke, and this deck has not topped yet. Okay. But we're gonna get there. And then we play the Lustragon, the best card of the deck.
Okay.
So here's the idea. Here's the idea with the Elestrals lineup. Is that, so we've already went over the 5's core. This is the solar core. In order to fit everything, we have to play 2 of ratios, and you kind of don't want to play these cards like just every like turn 1. Like you don't want to start these. You want to have them in pairs.
Okay.
Except for Corvishine. Corvishine's fine. So playing it at 2 is actually pretty nice because you get to like hold them in your hand until you have the other cards to pair with it. So like I don't want to be sitting on 2 Drataura, but I don't mind if I have 1 Drataura.
Fair.
Like,
that's fair. So that's why they're all 2-ofs, because you want to see them sometimes, but not all the time.
Exactly. If you've watched any of the Professor Swolax streams, you might have seen one of my psychotic attempts at building this deck, which was to pretend like you are not allowed to run 3-ofs, and just every card in the deck was a 2-of. Like every counter rune, every like Elestral was just a 2-of max, except for Ambrosia. And that's kind of where the idea came from, is you just play the 2-ofs, and then Exaltus searches everything, so you don't need more than that.
Lots of consistency. I get it.
Yeah, deck is hyper consistency. We did play the 2 field spell and then the 3 Apollo. These are your main Nexus banks. We already talked about how the field spell is there to make the 5s half of the deck into 6s to just get over other big dudes, apply a lot of pressure. But this is also like a Nexus bank if you don't need the pressure. And then Apollo, it's like a bad duality.
Not necessarily. I mean, it can get you into a lot of your engine, so it's pretty decent regardless.
It is, but this card, like when you need it to hit, it never hits.
Okay,
so you know, in that way, it's kind of bad. But so he's mostly a Nexus bank. And as you can see, like I don't play Plucky in my deck. Because I think one of the big problems that I think a lot of Solar players fall into, or like the trap, is that Apollo is not that important. Like, he's good, but as you can see, like,
I think he's not that important in your build specifically. I think if you're playing like the Cows deck or whatever, it's like mandatory, but in your deck, this is just a consistent way to hit guys to like fill up your hand with, and then leave spirits on board to Nexus with.
Exactly, because like one of the big things, and like the reason I like the 5s in this deck, is that if you don't have Apollo specifically, right? Your Exaltus isn't doing anything, right?
Fair.
Unless you create your own Nexus bank. So I treat Exaltus like an Ascension a lot of the time. And like I'll ascend him over a dude and Nexus off to another guy. And the only way to do that is to play dudes that are going to stick on the board.
Fair. Okay. That's a sound theory. I like that.
Yeah. So that's it for the Solar cards. Now for the standard cards, we got the Ambrosias. We got the Earthquake.
The 1-ofs.
The 1-ofs.
The power 1-ofs.
The 1 min rarity card. The Cryoblasts.
2 Cryoblasts.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll talk about this because just like you, I kind of felt like this card underperformed.
Yeah, it was pretty mid. I think it's like we're getting into a format where it doesn't hit as many things as it should.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'm gonna be straight up. This was the worst card in the deck, but I think you still have to play it if you're playing Solar, because Solar doesn't like playing against 5s. So even if nobody's playing 5s, like you still have to play it because you just need to kill the 5 dudes. So unfortunately I played it, but it had to be there. For the counter runes, we had 3 Gaze, 3 Poison Tip Arrow,
standard stuff,
2 Shield, and then 2 Altar. Best counter rune. Also kind of bad though.
I think Altar makes sense considering right now Tsunami not so strong because there's a lot of water decks that play water running around. So like Altar just ends up being like a better Tsunami in your deck. So I can see that being good.
Yeah, exactly. And it can trigger Corvishines and stuff, kind of like with
and Lustragon.
Lustragon, but I would say that I actually never do that. I've actually never had that happen where I've altered onto a Lustragon, because when I put the Lustragon on the field, I usually win that turn.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's a closer for you.
Yeah. I'm playing it kind of like a BLS Envoy or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a dude to end the game.
What do you think are the overall strengths of the deck? Like, what is like the main reason to play this deck other than I spent $2,000 I'm going to get my money's worth out of it?
I think other than that reason, the main reason is that it's super consistent, right? Like every card in your deck is searchable. Everything in your deck is a starter, or at least a soft starter. So I think it's that. And then you kind of do have the ability to play like that kind of 5s-ish route. But you then, when that starts to run out of steam, you pivot and it's like, okay, I'm a control deck now. I'm going to drop a Lustragon and start popping your cards.
So it's a versatile deck.
Yeah, it has an answer to everything.
Love that.
It just, you have to draw the answer.
Okay, fair.
Makes sense. Gotta draw it, but at least you get to, foretell, and you get to, like, if the answer's in top 3, I'm seeing it next turn.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So for the Spirit deck, we played 3, 6, 9, 11 Solar in the main Spirit deck. We played 3 Water, 3 Zaptor, 2 Atlas, and a Flare Mine.
You're a psychopath for these ratios.
No! These ratios are perfect!
I get the 1 Flare Mine for 2 Cryoblast. Would you play 1 Flare Mine for 3 Cryoblast?
Obviously.
That's crazy.
You don't need 2!
Yes,
you don't. No, you don't!
You need 2!
Oh my god, no. I'm making a video on this. I am making the video on how to like spirit manage because I don't know if you saw, there was a player who played solar water, I called it Drat Summer, where it was Drataura, Dratagua, and with Lustragon and Lustragon in the same deck.
Okay.
So that deck was really cool. And people thought that I was the one playing that deck because when people played it against me and they're like, Trish has so much water in his deck. How does he keep playing water dudes? I'm like, I'm just managing the water resource. Like, there's only 3 of them.
That's crazy.
Like,
that's wild.
I'm just managing it, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Then for the side deck's a little scuffed. There's some stuff I'd probably change, but I thought it was pretty good overall. It was 3 Boombat.
Okay, good card.
Good card.
Mandatory at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
More Earthquakes. 2 Edward. Shout out to Edward.
Love Edward.
Unfortunately, not a blue enough Edward.
My goat Edward.
Love Eddie. 2 Veritaqua. I think we talked about this before the tournament. I might have pilled you on this card. I don't remember.
It was. Like it. I blame
bad.
you. It was
bad.
Fault.
It was horrible. It was also ass for me because like it never came up. I was like, oh man, I hope Kevin does well because I pilled him on this card.
It's not good.
not good. No. Another not good card was Calfmel.
I think this is good.
Okay, so I sided this in one time. I was going to time, like there was like 2 minutes before game 3. And I put these in. I drew it in my opening hand. I was like, oh yeah, I keep this. I have the heal card. But the rest of my hand was also heal cards.
Okay.
So it was like Ambrosia, Calfmel.
You do have the Dratauras and stuff, so I guess it might not be necessary. It just, like, this card just feels like really, it feels like a bitch to out because anytime you clear it, you're just like, okay, well, my opponent has just healed 3. Anytime they put this card on the board, it feels bad to remove it.
See, it didn't feel bad for my opponent because I got washed.
Fair.
I got washed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that card, not very good. It was there for the heal stall deck, which I just don't think anybody played. So
okay, fair.
Then there was the 2 Tsunami, 2 Dense Fog, 1 Shield, and the Owloon for the Dense Fogs.
Yeah. Closing out the counter route lineup.
Yeah. So the Tsunamis obviously come in for like 5s and other like aggro type decks.
To have the versatility, yeah.
Yep. Exactly. The Dense Fogs, these are really only there for the Solar Mirror.
They're probably there for like Towers decks too. Like if you were to play against like a Cornadal or something like that, you would have to put those in to out it.
Yeah, like... Yeah.
It's a versatile enough card that it warrants the spot.
Yeah, I think that like it's there, but I think it's also partly there because we don't have anything better to play. And then the shield is just for tracking, just to put in the 3rd one versus that matchup.
Fair enough. That card is good into tracking.
I'll say that the 3 cards I sided in the 4 cards I sided in the most were these 4. These came in almost every match. And pretty much nothing else did.
Okay.
The biggest side I had was versus 5s. I would put in like these, this.
And the Tsunamis?
And the Tsunamis.
Okay.
And this felt fine.
How many water did you play main? 3?
3, yeah.
And that didn't feel like too little for
you?
No,
this was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the one thing that I'll like bring up when it comes to like spirit management and I guess why it feels okay is I would say that counter runes or just runes in general take half as much spirits like when you're building the spirit deck than a dude. So there's only 4 dudes in my deck that require a rune or a spirit for them. So, you know, those 2 get covered by the 2 spirits, and then these 2 get covered by the other 1 spirit, so it comes out to the perfect amount. Because the idea is with the guy, if you play a dude, right, and you swing with it, they shield you. You have to have 1 more spirit to play it back.
Play it again?
Right.
Okay.
But with the rune, you know, they can't, unless they have Chains of Prometheus, like...
They can't interact with it and force you to use it.
Right.
Again. Okay,
so,
I see the logic.
So, like, for example, if I'm playing 3 Dense Fog in my side, I'm going to side 1 Owloon. If I'm playing 3 Spectrus in the side, I'm siding 2 Owloon.
I see.
Yeah, even though it's 3 cards for X spirits, it's a different number of spirits that I'm gonna want.
That's some interesting logic, but I like it. I think it's sound. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that's like something I'll deep dive into later, another day. But
fair.
Yeah, the spirit management was good. You know, ratios worked.
So that's the list?
Yeah, that was the list.
Very standard. Do you like it? Would you change anything, or do you think the list is like about as good as it can be?
No, there's definitely stuff I would change because like I bubbled. It was 4-2.
Yeah.
So clearly room for improvement. I think these cards terrible. Do not play them.
Do you feel like the main deck was fine, or do you feel like the only thing you would change is really just like side deck stuff? Was the main deck okay?
Mostly side deck. Yeah. Okay. So I think the Cryoblasts are probably cuttable.
Okay.
And same with the Sorlets. These are probably the most cuttable cards in the deck.
Do you think you'd swap Sorlet for like a third Galaxy and another tech card?
Yeah, I think that's exactly kind of
what I'm
thinking.
I feel like Galaxy's really good right now. It doesn't lose to PTA, it doesn't lose to Cryoblast. It's good into all the water decks. Like, it feels like a really strong card right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it won me so many games too. Like, it was probably the best performing card in my deck.
Yeah.
But you know, I wanted this specifically because it would become a 6 under the temple.
Yeah, that's smart. Because you can't misenchant your Galaxy. You have to enchant.
Exactly. So those were just extra Lumaroos, but I summoned Sorlet exactly one time.
Okay.
And it was against 5s. I didn't have the field up, and
you just crashed.
No, I just walked over an Eddy.
Oh, you know.
I just beat over an Eddy.
Eddy is a 5 technically.
Yep, it beat over an Eddy, and that's all it did. So shout out to Sorlet.
All right. Yep. So other than that, you think the list is good?
Yeah, I think so. I recently reviewed every deck list that was in the tournament, and in doing that, I think a lot of the other solar decks that did well, barring Drat Summer, were somewhat similar to the one that I was playing.
Okay.
It kind of followed that like consistent Lustragon, like one of Lustragon type deck building. So I think that this is the way for the top performing solars right now.
Okay. Well, sick. I mean, hey, thank you for showing us the deck list.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it. If any of you guys want to give this deck a try, fucking watch the profile again. And then build the deck with ads on. Thank you.
Ads on and manage the spirits. Perfect.
With that being said, thank Trish so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching the video. And for all of you guys watching at home, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace!